Hey everyone, Robert Ferringo with Doc Sports here with you once again for your Friday football betting bonanza, NFL style. With me as always is Raphael Esparza. Looks like a fresh haircut, Raphael. You got plans for this weekend other than watching college and NFL football? What do we got going on? Tell me a little something about Mr. Esparza's world this weekend.
Just hiding the gray. That's pretty much it. The shorter it goes, the gray gets hidden away. So that's all. But like I said, Saturday, fantastic college football. We discussed it earlier. Sunday, I might watch Black Adam. Maybe Halloween ends again because this card is as bad as Thursday night's football card. Let's face it. There's really one good game, and that's KC Buffalo. But everything else, I mean, it's not that of exciting a card. I'll try to pump up this week as much as possible, but there's a lot of garbage on the betting board in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. A lot of trash. It's funny, everybody didn't think things could get worse for a Thursday night game than last week's Colts Broncos game. I think Washington, Chicago topped it. I really did. I know we had a little bit of excitement there at the end, but that excitement was more based around the incompetence and stupidity of both teams. The game-winning touchdown set up by a fumbled punt inside the 10-yard line, and then the game decided on a dropped pass in the goal line. So a lot of stupidity. Hopefully that's not going to be a theme. Now, Raphael, one thing that has been a theme in NFL betting this year is underdogs. It's been pretty easy to handicap the NFL, right? Just take the points. Underdogs went 10-5-1 against the spread last week. They're hitting it at, I believe, a 60 or 61% clip so far this season. Raphael, is it just that easy? Should we just blindly be taking the points here, or is this kind of a statistical anomaly?
A little bit of both. I mean, teams that normally cover that the sports books wish they never did cover, that we always get pounded. Green Bay having a hard time covering. Tampa Bay having a hard time cover. Kansas City didn't cover on Monday night to the Raiders. So teams that we normally get crushed, we as in odds makers, have not been covering this year. So that means the books have been doing really, really, really good. And don't believe what you see on Twitter because everyone's the best handicapper in the world in Twitter. No one loses. But the books are making some nice, good coins so far because of those teams are not covering. And they're not even covering the teasers either. So just dog been barking all season long so far.
Do those kind of umbrella trends in the league, and this could be in any sport, but specifically this year in the NFL, do those start to enter into your handicapping? Do you change you've been doing this a long time, just like I have. We can get stuck in our ways. How much do you adapt to these types of league-wide trends? Do you look at it and say, look, the majority games are going under the total and underdogs are hitting over 60%. I'm going to change up what I'm looking at and how I'm handicapping these games and just start hitting on these Johnny-come-lately trends. Is that something that ever enters into your handicapping process?
Depending on the team, sometimes bad teams are just bad teams. I just stay away from them. Like I know I released the Bears as a free play last night, but I really thought they were the better team than Washington. So they should have won that game. So that's the only reason why I released that because I just thought they're at home. I got a thank you letter from Caesars. I'll give a shout out to Caesars because I bet Justin Fields to total passing yards over. Opened up at 172, got bet all the way down to 164.5. I bet it over. And I got a thank you email saying, hey, thanks for betting the over. You're the only one in the world that bet the over. And it actually cashed. So I got the nice thank you card for them. But it has adjusted away a little bit, but I try not to get stuck into that because, like I said, I've been doing this so long. I still try to focus on what's got me here. But sometimes bad teams are just bad teams. And sometimes you just need to ride those bad teams.
All right, before we get into the games that we're going to break down, got to pay some bills. Go above and below this video that you're watching right now. Click on either one of those links and take advantage of $60 free over at DocSports.com. The best team of handicappers in the country, really. We are the A team, the best of the best, the cream of the crop. Use that $60 towards any handicapper in any sport for any package that you want. You want just a couple of $30 top games? Boom, get two of them for free. You want to sign up for a weekly package for football, which is right around $99? Hey, we pretty much already have you covered. You can take that $60, apply it towards a full season NBA package with NBA starting on Tuesday. It's $60 and it's free. So do whatever you want with it. Now, Raphael, like this first game that we're going to talk about is kind of indicative of what kind of card we're looking at this weekend. Jacksonville heading to Indianapolis. And somehow this disgusting excuse for an NFL game really might be one of the most interesting and one of the most potentially profitable of the weekend. I know a lot of very smart people, a lot of very sharp people are looking heavy at the Colts in this game. But we know that Jacksonville has dominated the Colts really over the last few years. So how do you work this one out?
Yeah, they've already beaten them once already this year. Gave them the big goose egg.
Badly.
So I understand why a lot of Jag money come in. I saw a lot of newsletters, Jags. But if there's anything that's in a locker room pinpoint or on a newsletter or something, or it's on a chalkboard, the Jags are coming to your backyard today, boys. If you're the Colts, you should know who's coming in town. They screwed you guys out of the playoffs last year. You got embarrassed already this year already, putting the big goose egg on the board. If there's one game, if the Colts don't make it to the playoffs or whatever, this is the game that they should focus all season long. Hey, you know what? We can't lose again to the Jags. I think we saw maybe who the Jags really are last week when Houston, Lovie Smith, the best beard in football, beat them 13-6. They struggled all game long. They couldn't run the ball. Their secondary was just nowhere to be found. I think that could be a tablet of what we saw. I like the Colts on this spot just because redemption may be served.
I agree with you. I mean, the Colts are a bad football team. Like they're issues on offense. It's not scheme. It's not execution. They have bad players. They don't have a tight end. Their wide receivers are the worst in football. Their running backs are hurt. Their offensive line is not as dominant as it was, say, 3 years ago. And Matt Ryan's not the guy that he was 10 years ago. The Colts are bad, dude. They are not turning things around this season. They are not the competitor in the AFC that we have seen the last few years. That said, if they can't show up and play with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder for all the reasons that you pointed to, getting bounced out of the playoffs and getting humiliated earlier this week, then, it kind of shouldn't be collecting a paycheck. They're at home. They're not even favored by the full field goal that the books like to give the home team here. Like, how much more disrespect do you need to see? I know a lot of people were on the Jaguars bandwagon early for that bizarre blowout that they had out in Los Angeles against the Chargers. But to your point, we're kind of the Jags are still the Jags. Trevor Lawrence stinks. I want to say that I was one of the first people to raise my hand and say, hey, maybe this guy's pretty terrible last year. So I am not surprised that we're starting to hear rumblings about maybe this guy isn't the franchise-saving quarterback that we've seen in the past. So I will be more surprised if Indianapolis doesn't win this game than I will be if Jacksonville continues their role of dominance against the Colts. I swear, between the Texans, Jaguars, and Colts, we have like a mentally challenged version of scissor, paper, rock going in this game. Like, these three teams are terrible, but they all just seem to dominate one another, and it doesn't really, they can't beat anyone else in the league, but they can beat each other. So, all right. Big upset last week was the Giants knocking out the Packers. I'm sure that knocked more than a few people out of their survivor pools. I'm sure it was a windfall for the sports books. I mean, Green Bay couldn't hold up a 2-touchdown lead in that game. Now the Giants are coming home. They're home underdogs again. Juicy roll for them against Baltimore, coming out of an emotionally draining win over Cincinnati last Sunday night. What are you looking at in this game, Raphael?
If the Ravens defense, who's been questionable, I mean, Buffalo put a big question mark. New England put a big question mark on their defense. It's not the same Raven defense that won Super Bowls. If they can't stop the run and can't stop Barkley, +6 is a good bet to go on this. I've been sold on the Giants because of Barkley. Comeback player of the year. He could raise that trophy. MVP. He's got to be listed with Hurts somewhere on there because he's the main reason why the Giants are 4-1. They're playing good football. Wins does a lot of wonders for the defensive side, the offensive side, both lines. I just like the way this team is playing. If the Ravens can't stop the run, the Giants will be in this game and would not shock me if they pull off the upset at home. I mean, it shouldn't be an upset. They're, like I said, they're 4-1. They're at home +6. Really, I haven't been sold on the Ravens all season long.
You are sold on the Giants, though? I am not. I still think the Giants are a bad football team, and they're 4-1 as a complete and total mirage. But it sounds like you're buying in. You like what you see?
I like what I see because you know what? Confidence. They're playing with confidence because you know what? They got 4 wins. But wins does a lot of wonders.
One of the handicapping angles I like to look at is former coaches going up against their old team. This one's going to be kind of an underrated, under the radar subplot of this game. But Wink Martindale unceremoniously rejected from Baltimore this offseason after a decade as their defensive coordinator. He's going up against his old team. He's done really good things with that Giants defense. Now, it's not surprising to me that the Giants defense is having a little bit of success early in the season because Martindale's scheme is blitz. That old Blitzburg, send the house at the quarterback type of defensive approach that tends to work early in the season exceptionally well because teams aren't as organized in September as they normally are. Then as the season goes on, teams adjust, and then you're kind of vulnerable. Raphael, do you think that Martindale has some kind of knowledge and understanding of what to do to slow down Lamar Jackson and this Ravens offense because he, has so much experience going up against them in practice? Do you put any weight or validity to that theory?
A little bit, but I put more weight on the Giants offense. I mean, they're not telling Jones, hey, you need to win this game for us. We have other weapons now. I think that's improving why the Giants offense is not all shaky we've seen them year after year. So yes, the Giants defense has been playing good, but you just said it's Blitzburg. It's like they're just putting him on their toes. Lamar's going to have a Lamar game. That's fine. Just don't let the other people around him win the game.
Talking about top defenses, San Francisco is packing one of the best defenses in the NFL. They are rolling down to Atlanta. This is back-to-back games in the Eastern time zone for San Francisco, Raphael. Some handicappers put stock in that, some do not. But this is the 4th year in a row that they've had that double dip on the East Coast. This is also the 4th year in a row that they have not made the back-to-back cross-country flights. They stayed up in West Virginia, trained this week, and now they're heading to Atlanta after thrashing Carolina and ending Matt Rule's NFL coaching career. The last 3 times they have done this, Raphael, San Francisco has dominated. They are 7-0 on the East Coast. They've won the second of those back-to-backs all 3 times in dominating fashion. They are a healthy 5.5-point favorite on the road here against the Falcons, who are the last undefeated. It's not the Eagles. We don't care about the Eagles. The Falcons are the last undefeated team against the spread in the NFL. Is this the week that they get their streak snapped?
Yes. 15 points Carolina scored. 9 points the Rams scored. Denver scored 11 or 10 points. This defense is really, really good. San Francisco's defense wins this game. I love this defense. And I know I still say Cowboys defense best in the league, but the 49ers are 1B. I can't wait to watch this game just because I've been happy to see the success at Atlanta. I mean, I know they're 2-3, should have beaten the Saints, but this team I thought was going to be garbage, and they're not that big of a garbage. I like watching this team.
Yeah, they're scrappy. They were down 21-0 last week. They come all the way back. They had that horrendous call against Grady Jarrett, the roughing the passer, the Brady rules. I feel like being in Atlanta, I do feel like that's lingered a little bit this week, that this team may still be looking back at that game and what could have been rather than looking ahead to San Francisco. But, Atlanta, they got down big against the Rams. They got down big against Tampa Bay, and they just keep fighting. I feel like that back door might be open if San Francisco does not come out and slam the door shut early in this game. All right, the one big time, prime time. Well, I guess Dallas-Philadelphia is a pretty big time game going on this weekend, but the game of the weekend, and one of the games of the regular season in the NFL, really, is Buffalo going to Kansas City. Revenge for the Buffalo Bills for the 17-second game last year in the playoffs. Look, I feel like, I know in my power rankings, I have Buffalo and Kansas City as the top 2 teams in that order. Some people have Philadelphia up near the top. I think it's pretty obvious that these are the 2 best teams. Raphael, number 1, are you surprised to see that Kansas City was posted as a home underdog? Number 2, how much do you weigh that revenge factor? And number 3, just who do you like in this game?
This game, for me, I was a little bit shocked on the disrespect that Kansas City got. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, a home underdogs, 9-0. I mean, that right there should be a big key. But there's really not that much you could talk because you can make angles on both sides. Who's going to win this game? Don't overthink this game. If you like one side, take that side, but just enjoy this game. We all saw what happened last year. Pop some popcorn, make a cocktail. It's the 4:25 game, so it's not a late game. So you just enjoy this game. I think I like Kansas City plus the points. I think going to the Kingdom, it's hard to steal a home win there. We all saw what happened last year. To disrespect Kansas City. And I'm not sold on Kansas City, even though whoever wins this game, everyone's going to anoint them as the Super Bowl champions. That's not going to happen. If KC loses, they're still going to make the playoffs. If Buffalo loses, they're still going to make the playoffs. And yes, whoever loses might lose home field for the playoffs, but it doesn't matter because these two teams can steal a road game in the playoffs. I'm not looking at it. I'm just going to sit back, enjoy it. I'm a little bit shocked that it wasn't maybe a point favorite for either side. I mean, it didn't matter. I thought either side would have been fine with me. I'm going to sit back, pop some popcorn, make a Manhattan or an old fashioned and enjoy it.
Both of these offenses have been dominating early in the year. Two sneaky good defenses, two more than capable defenses. Which side of the ball do you think is going to dominate in this one?
Both offenses, I think we're going to see a lot of points scored. I think the over hits on this one, but I just think in the fourth quarter, whoever has the ball last wins the game.
I do feel like it means a little bit more to Buffalo in this game. I do put some weight on that revenge angle. You know, Kansas City has some other things. Yes, they're at home, but they're playing on a short week. And you know what I always say, win on Monday, lose on Sunday type of thing. So Buffalo does have some kind of built-in situational advantages, but I just feel like this one means more to them. I feel like Kansas City, they have won a Super Bowl. They have won multiple AFC championships. They understand that the regular season is the regular season. Buffalo isn't there yet. They still haven't achieved their ultimate goal. So I feel like this game they're approaching as their kind of mini regular season Super Bowl type of game. And I wonder if that will give them an advantage. I wonder if they put a little bit extra effort into this one. Because as you mentioned, if Kansas City loses, they still know they're going to the playoffs, and they still know that Buffalo will have to beat them a second time if they want to get through the AFC. So I feel like it matters a little bit more to the Bills than it does to the Chiefs, and we'll see how that one plays out. So, all right, Raphael, again, not a ton of good games. We'll have maybe a better video next weekend. You can't let you out of here without giving the people a free play, though.
I'm going to stick with that game, Buffalo KC, over. I mean, both quarterbacks are going to have monster games. Look at the prop bets for both quarterbacks. I think the running game, maybe hidden gems as well for both running backs on receiving yards, not rushing yards. I think both running backs catch a lot of screen passes, dump passes. It's going to be I can't wait. This is the only game I'm actually excited for the NFL. You know me, I hate the NFL, but I'm actually going to watch probably every snap of this one. So I won't watch a movie. I'll watch this game.
All right, I like the over in the Carolina-Los Angeles Rams game. That number's around 41.5, 42. In my opinion, there is no doubt that Carolina is better off with P.J. Walker than with Baker Mayfield, who is just a loser. That guy's just a clown show. I think they're better off with Walker under center. That offense does have some playmakers. They just need to get them the ball. If you look at things like their yard per point, just their depressed scoring so far this year, I think Carolina is going to score some points. And I think the Rams offense at a certain point is going to figure some things out. If Stafford can stop turning the ball over, if they can start running the ball a little bit better, it doesn't matter. At some point, the Rams are going to score after being shut down in back-to-back weeks by San Francisco and Dallas. I'm not as scared of Carolina's defense, which just gave up 37 points at home to San Francisco last week. I feel like the Panthers are going to play a little freer, a little looser after Matt Rule got fired. May see some trick plays, may see some onside kick, just something to get this team going. So I expect both teams to top the 20-point mark in this game, and I have this one going over. So, all right, that's it. Everyone have a great weekend. That's our Friday football betting bonanza. Be sure to go over to Doc Sports and use that $60 free to get signed up, and be sure to check back next weekend for more videos from Raphael and I. Until then, carpe diem and good luck.